Alright, does this actually work? What? What didn't work? What? There we go. That was more difficult than it should have been. The Skeletal Horseman mob was added in Minecraft 1.9. These Skeletal Horsemen will only spawn from horses designated as skeletal traps, which spawn from lightning. These horses, on normal difficulty, only have a 1.5% to 4% chance of spawning. When a player comes within 10 blocks of these skeletal horses, lightning will strike the horse, and thus a crew of 4 skeletal horsemen will begin attacking the player. Now, why would Mojang add a very, very elaborate mob to spawn, and also a very strange one? This question in itself is a pretty flawed one. In the past, Mojang's added some mobs that don't really serve any purpose.
Alright, so the Illusioner has been in the game for quite a while, but it hasn't actually, at least in Java Edition, but it hasn't actually been part of the core game. It's just been there kind of hiding.
Rather, we should be asking a different question. What are the Horsemen? Now, this is something that many players have asked many, many times, seeing as though the update came out 5 years ago. Now, you could say that the Skeletal Horseman is just another mob that Mojang made up, like an Endermite, or a Hoglin, or anything else like that. But much like spiders, zombies, or even their counterparts, regular skeletons, Skeletal Horsemen have been around in media, myth, folklore, etc. for a very, very long time. They're not something that Mojang created on their own, but there's a huge difference between skeleton spawning and skeleton horseman spawning, whereas skeleton horseman spawning is, as we now know, very elaborate. So taking into account the things that separate the skeletal horsemen from other mobs, now we can ask another question. What do they mean? This is where things start to take a turn. When researching for past Minecraft Declassifieds, somewhere in the back of my head I recalled a user that confidently said that the 4 horsemen of Minecraft are the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. After some careful Google searching, I came to the realization that the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse were originally presented in the Old Testament, a book that to many explains the natural creation of the world. As unfortunate as it may be, generally, most of the time whenever somebody mentions religion, it ends up with 2 people disagreeing or even full-blown arguments. Now, given my suspicion that the 4 horsemen of Minecraft are indeed the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, we need to determine, would Mojang really put something religious into the game? Well, as much as it may surprise you, yes, they absolutely would. This is obviously a church. And a villager that you're able to trade with is labeled a cleric, which is a rank in either a Christian or Muslim organization, typically. And not to mention, in the older versions of Minecraft, instead of the Nether being called the Nether, whenever you pressed F3, it was called Hell. So with those things further proving my point that religion is indeed implemented in Minecraft in some very minor ways, the 4 horsemen theory doesn't seem especially crazy anymore. This user on a Minecraft forum post pointed out that these 4 figures could be the 4 musketeers, or warriors of Asgard. While it may be a stretch to you that the 4 horsemen of Minecraft are the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, I believe it's an even bigger stretch to say that these 2 things could be the horsemen. Let me elaborate. After some rigorous Google searching, I could literally not find anything directly related to something as specific as the 4 horsemen of Valhalla. And while all 4 of the horsemen of the apocalypse are not all skeletons on horses, these guys are definitely not skeleton warriors. And not to mention, one of the main things backing that these skeleton horses are the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse is the fact that they strike lightning and come out of the sky. They literally descend from the sky. What does that have to do with the 4 Musketeers? Enough about my favorite candy. Oh wait. There we go. After going over everything that I have in this video thus far, I can draw to the conclusion that these skeleton warriors are most likely the 4 Men of the Apocalypse. All the boxes are checked for me personally. Walking away with this new knowledge that I now have, I can safely say, /weather clear. If you're watching this, then that means you watched all the way through, which is greatly appreciated. I work very hard on these videos, and I do a lot of research, a lot of writing. In fact, this particular video, I've been sitting down for almost, 11 hours now, and got to go to work in a few hours. So, if you guys enjoyed, subscribe, it helps. Bye, everyone.